Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Hinkley Model Royal Council Royal Conference 2024 and the afternoon session, which is always not the please. But before we do, I hope, like me, you have an enjoyable lunch and enjoy the food. So I'd like to pay tribute to and thank the catering staff for looking after us, for giving us wonderful food and serving as well, and clearing the tables away, giving us excellent service. So if you just join me with the thanks to the catering staff, that would be really helpful. Gareth, it's great to see you. Thank you to you and all of your colleagues. I know I came out and had a little peek at how popular the police car was and the number of delegates that wanted to look at that, the questions you have been asked. It's good to see a number of your colleagues at the back. I know these events will reduce some time you can reach out to so many people. But we're interested too, as we always are, to learn what Hinkley is doing on behalf of us all, helping us to keep us safe. So, the floor is yours, sir, and thank you for coming.
Any questions on the card? Probably one guys just about a bit. No? Colleagues, no issues about the card? Right, let's do everybody. Thank you, Martin. So, I've got a few faces here, and I tend to do the same thing at the time of the presentation, so I do apologise if you've seen this before. There's quite a lot of people that aren't aware of the team we've got at the minute. So, the Bosworth team listed there, you can see. So, Neil Whitmore is my new inspector based at Hinkley. One based at Hinkley and Bosworth. So I spent a bit of time at Hinkley. I've got the Hill Shields and Barlow feeds, and then I'll spend a bit of time at Bosworth as well, so I've got the Bosworth feed. Mr. Whittle taken over about 6 months ago with Steve Palmer. I'm sure you're aware of Steve Palmer, he was the commander prior to Mr. Whittle. He took over about 6 months ago. He can't be here with us today, unfortunately. He's at a training course in Manchester, so he's been there for the week. So I'm here. So, as myself, pre-beard, many years ago with white shirt. So I've got 23 years in police, mostly in and around the city centre. I moved to Bosworth about 18 months ago. Completely different policing. Is different city. So yeah, so I'm there, and we've got 5 members of staff that work out of Bosworth, 3 police officers and 2 PCSOs. So Rich is currently in Morocco. Please forgive me, Rich. You got about 10 years in? About 3 as a PCSO and 7 as a police officer. Al Charles. Al, yourself, 7 years PCSO?
17 years in total. 4 years as PCSO. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
PCSO?
PCSO 13 years, 4 years as PCSO.
Cool. Amy, she's not with us. She's at the only other minute of her policing degree. She's got about 2 years here. She's moved to Pete's about a year ago. Very valued member of the team. And then 2 PCSOs, Nico, I think everyone knows him. Nico, 5 years, PCSO, yeah. Cool. And then last but not least, Grace, PCSO, 2 years, Grace. The year before you were over at Peter before Bronston, and then she moved off to be about a year ago. Yeah. So that's basically the background of the This is the Hinkley Bosworth MPO, neighbourhood policing area. So there are 2 police stations, one based at Hinkley and one based at Bronston. So that's where our response officers are. So they will police that whole area there, which is a big area, 24/7 policing. That area is one big area. So you can probably see, I'm not sure if you know the area, we've got Ralston down here, and Infield down here. So officers will be dispatched 24/7 to any incidents in that whole area. So you get, for example, police from Ralston coming across to Sheepy Magna, you get officers from Hinkley going all the way across to the east, which is just a tip. So you went to the Alderman Park Prison. Yeah, that's based on there. So that is part of our area. It goes on all the way from there across Blackstone. So it's a big old patch. So anyone from Hinkley or Ralston can go to any instance in that area. There are 11 beats over that. There are 11 beats across the whole area. 5 sergeants, numerous police officers and PCSOs. So, this is the beat we're talking about today. So, I've got 2 beat officers. I've got Ilshurst and Barber, 1 beat, and Officer Boss will be there. So, very busy beat, which you can imagine. I've got 5 members of staff, so they are very busy. Sergeant Worcester, we'll talk about later, but that's all we've got on there. This is a little bit update, just have the new crime figures for January, just pops up on here. So, anyone can get these figures. If you log on to police.uk and type in the beat area, you can get access to all these figures. So it's a little bit out there. I've just had January's come up a couple of days ago. So as you can see there, it's got a crime in the past year, and if you look latest on here, December 2023, and you can see what the lowest it's been in the year. January's figures have just come up a couple of days ago, which is similar to December, quite similar. So again, in the grand scheme of things, it's very low. There's a breakdown of the crimes there for December. Which I will just, you can see there, the breakdown of what happened. That's just December. That's crimes recorded in the month of December. So January's come up slightly lower than that, which is good news. And that is the hotspots where all those crimes have been broken down into areas. And obviously, you can see you've got 65 there in and around the Groovy area. And online, you can drill down into that and it'll tell you exactly street by street. That's a bit of a breakdown there. So as you can see, 166 crimes reported in December, 70 violence and sexual offences. Violence can mean anything from common assault all the way to murder. So that's broken down there. Public order 22, vehicle crime 16. So vehicle crime consists of theft of vehicles and theft from vehicles. And last but not least, all of the crime, so that is broken down into criminal damage and thefts. Not vehicle crime thefts, but it could be thefts, which encompasses theft from store, burglaries, residential and non-residential, so business burglaries will be part of that as well. This was say back in December, but we have surveys and it explains the most important things to the residents of the area, and there's some positives and negatives there. So as you can see, positive bits, good neighbours, mostly, quiet, friendly, community, safe down there, peaceful. And the negatives at the bottom, a lot of it is related to traffic crime, we'll see that one too. So, yeah, negatives, speeding, parking issues, schools, vehicles, and then it's broken down further into the graph chart there. So you've got ASB, dog fouling, obstructions, burglaries and road safety issues. So it's very, you can see it's very heavy weight on speeding and vehicle issues, which you expect due to the nature of the beat and the rawness of it, shall we say. I'll go into that a little bit further with Martin That's my bit, my introduction over, and I'll just ask Mr. Cross to show what we'll do soon is to.
Thank you very much. Good, no slides for me, so. Afternoon, folks. Firstly, it's nice to be back. I was going to say there's some old faces in the room, but I'm not suggesting they're old. I'll say there's some familiar faces in the room. I had the pleasure of being the beat officer at Market Bosworth for 5 or 6 years, probably 3 years ago now. So still holds a place in my heart, Bosworth. And I also have the pleasure of being responsible for the rural crime team for Leicestershire. So on the tin that we cover Leicestershire. So from Rutland, bordering Lincolnshire, Nottinghamshire, Warwickshire, Northampton, all those counties, we cover the whole force, rural and wildlife crime. Now Mike Statt at the back, who's away, Statty, hello. Hello. He is the Hinckley and Blaby saviour of rural and wildlife crime, based at Market Bosworth and embedded within your beat team here as well. So they work hand in glove, dealing with rural and wildlife crime across this part of the county. And I made a few notes here because what's interesting is there's no national definition of what a rural crime actually is. So if we've not got the goalpost, it's really hard for us to define what a rural crime is. So as a result of that, in Leicestershire, we've got what's called 2 pillars for rural crime. If you live in a rural area, by definition of the census data, it's 51% rural, and a crime happens in your area, that's a rural crime. So let's say Rackford Cooley, fighting the pub, your crime statistics say that's a rural crime. Yet if you look at the Hinckley and Blaby beat area, you've got an area called Foss Villages that covers Sharnford, Sapkirk, Elmsthorpe, Spain Stanton. Villages, farms, there's an agri dealer, there's equestrian places. Per census data, that's not a rural part of the world. So any crime that happens in that area isn't classed as a rural crime. So we weighed in as our little team, there's a sergeant plus 6 that cover the whole county, and we look at every crime that happens overnight. And we painstakingly go through the spreadsheet and we look and say, burglary, stables, rural crime, tick, theft of a tractor, Leicester City. Is it a rural crime or is it not? Theft of an Arthur Williams horse trailer in Glenfield. Is that a rural crime? Is it not? So that second sort of pillar of data is a subjective one. So number 1 is your rural crime stats based on census data, and number 2 is, do we think it's a rural crime? Do we need to do something to go visit that victim and see if they need any extra support, they need any help? Peaks and troughs with anything. So rural crime at the moment in Leicestershire, I use the word healthy. We're looking quite healthy with it. It only takes one OCG, one organised crime group, to come in and start to steal Arthur Williams trailer, to steal quad bikes, or to target red diesel from farms, for our rural crime picture to spike. At the moment, we're looking really good, looking quite healthy across the board. We made a few significant arrests with neighbouring forces, which took 6 really prolific criminals out of the game for 6 months. And we sat back and we rode the crest of the wave in terms of positivity and success. Funny enough, last month they were released. We started to see a bit of an increase. maybe it's purely coincidental, I don't know. So trailer and plant theft at the moment, I suppose, is one of our biggest issues, but aside from that, the biggest issue I think for the rural community, and they will part of that, and we're looking at those figures again, is livestock worrying. We've seen a massive increase in livestock worrying. Whether that's COVID dogs that are unsocialised, whether it's people straying on footpaths, but I've never seen in nearly 16 years of policing so many livestock attacks. And that's a national picture as well, that's reflected nationally. So nationally, we recognise that. There's a National Rural Crime Network and there's a National Rural Crime Unit who deal specifically with rural crimes. There's a national operation specifically for livestock worrying called Operation Recall. And we scan these main rural and wildlife crime issues, and if there's a national problem, we give it an operation name. So if something happens in Lincolnshire or Leicestershire or Northampton, we can all sing off the same hymn sheet. So the main ones for the whole of the UK, Op Recall, which is livestock worrying, Operation Walrus, great name, but it's related to GPS thefts on top of tractors. Everyone's seen Clarkson's Farm. If you've not watched it, it's great. You see Jeremy Clarkson driving up down this field and Caleb's pulling it down saying, what are you doing? And this GPS phone basically talks to the tractor and the driver and helps you maximise your yield and minimise the diesel wastage. there's a big demand in Russia for these products. And because no one wants to trade with Russia, it's forcing this market of GPS zones in the black market, and loads are getting stolen across the UK. And then the final main one for us is Operation Galileo. Now, 3 years ago, I was stood in the cold agricultural shed in Fen Drayton with a few angry farmers because the perception was Leicestershire Police weren't doing enough to combat hare coursing. And when I talk about hare coursing, I'm not just talking about wildlife crime, I'm talking about public order, serious criminal damage to field margins, and I'm talking about a protected animal that's being chased and killed under the same legislation as crocs under the Hunting Act. So it became really uncomfortable for us, but we listened to what the community said, put more patrols out, did more to target offenders, and it's nice to be in a more comfortable position now than we were a few years ago. I'm sure Brian, you were there at the time, we were in the same meeting room as us with the NFU, and we were sort of hot under the collar thinking, yeah, we have to do more with that. A couple of the points I wanted to raise was we've sent out a confidence and satisfaction survey. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to see that. We sent it out to all the CSPs around the county, specifically for the rural policing team, to say, where are we, what are we doing, what do we need to be doing, do you think there's value in a rural policing team, what do you want to see more of, do you think that we've changed your perception of policing? Because I mentioned earlier on, it's a sergeant for 6 people covering the whole county, and our repertoire, our portfolio is purely rural crime. And I do think we've done a lot to improve how things work in terms of confidence and satisfaction. If you reflect on how we were a few years ago. So if you've not had a chance to look at that survey, I'll get it sent out again via Martha, so you can have a look at that and add that onto your list of things to do. Unfortunately, this area isn't defined by a particular rural crime. I look at Melton and Rutland, and I know that there'll be training community stolen overnight. I look at other force areas, like I say, Lincolnshire, just so flat, blade and hare coursing. This area, fortunately, isn't defined at the moment by a particular crime type. I don't know if that's more luck than judgment, but we are reliant on that network of farmers, of ramblers, of gamekeepers, of equestrians, of anybody who lives and works in the rural area to feed information into us. And I think we've got a lot better at doing that with various WhatsApp groups, various social media platforms, and various messaging services. And I think we're more accountable than we've ever been. I could talk about rural crime to you guys all afternoon, but I'm sure you don't want to know what's going on in Melton and Rutland, but that's the picture that we give. The spike over here is no longer a spike. Things are looking really good. But I think this side in particular, I think the wheel is very much on in terms of rural crime. Unless anyone's got anything else I want to add into the mix. But I'm really proud to have that sort of portfolio for rural and wildlife. It's quite unusual. We get phone calls from people saying, my neighbour's cutting his trees down and I'm worried there's nesting birds or there's bats in there. Or we get inputs from gamekeepers about snares and about legislation changes and about the Hunting Act. It's quite a bespoke role to be in. And it's always an emotive one. Whenever we get a prosecution for the media, whether it's involving animals or wildlife, or the XL bully ban, that sits at the moment, next couple of weeks under our portfolio. That's a massive piece of work, the XL bullies, and the staff that have worked on that, the legislation that have been put to the floor with how they've been operating. So, I don't think you're going to just an open floor for questions now for these 9, or you're going to just cover those first?
First, but before we do, I just want to welcome you back to Kingdom Boston. And on behalf of everybody, we've watched your progression and through the different various roles you've had with this place. Just want to congratulate you on that, and just add something that you didn't have in there, because it's just equally important. And I've watched it so many a time. You do so much work that's preventative. So you'll have stalls and you'll go out into the community and you do the preventative work, such as others being exercised and those, that's anything positive you do for all areas. In actually trying to stop crime before it happens, it doesn't always transpire through to that, because obviously crime is still going to happen. But we must be not only do the day-to-day proactive work and target people that we want to lock up and reduce the crime rate, but you also do all that help as well, and trying to reduce it in the first place by the education and such as being here today. So it's great to see the progression as well. And thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I think that just on that very briefly, I think that's really important, and quantifying the sort of preventative measures is always going to be really, really difficult. In fact, you might have Al or Grace or Nico or anyone driving through the middle of not looked at swipe at 3 in the morning. They may have prevented a crime going on, and you're never going to quantify that. So I think one of the difficult things we have is not justifying our role, but we're a relatively new team of two and a bit years. And people often will think, well, what are the rural crime actually doing? How do you quantify it? So that's why I mentioned that confidence and satisfaction survey, and I'll get out to you if that's okay to share out with people. That really help our cause.
I have checked with Rachel, but it's still live. It's not got many days to it, we'll shut down immediately after the conference, and hopefully you can join in that. If you stay with me for a moment, because as you know, we've done the rural strategy review, and that was, we talked about that earlier, and the fundamental part of that was finding out what worked well for parishes, and they were very, very decent and impactors with a lot of stuff that worked well, and we wanted to celebrate that, and that's part of what today is about. We also asked what the challenges are, and obviously the police quite a number of times, and that's a number of parish councils would ask the same question. So while we're putting here today, we've taken a very detailed analysis of what the response has been, which has produced a few questions which I have. So if I go through those with you first, and one or both of you may want to answer those, and then I'll open to the audience. So this is just as a result of the rural strategy, and sometimes it may be an individual parish or multiple parishes, but that's a very similar question. So I've collated them down to keep it short and sweet, but to get the answers to what is concerning us right now. So, around that question one is speaking is an issue in many parishes. Praise has been submitted to the police with campaigns that have helped with this and the reduction of it. Can you highlight any planned campaigns for the future? Because as you said as well in your presentation, although the campaigns have been successful, there's still going, it's never going to go away. So, can you give us any updates about new campaigns that might happen?
Yeah, so obviously, like I alluded to earlier, big rural means lot of issues, speeding vehicles. So I believe everyone on the team is now trained on speed. Is that right? I know you had some training recently. So we haven't trained yet. So yes.
Yeah.
Help me out here, so everyone's trained on speed and policy now. So we're trying to do at least 1 or 2 every month. Speaking operations. So I know back in February we did Sheepy, Nailton and Bolston. I think most of that was just worked on license, but I don't think there was any particular high speeds going through. So that's something we're carrying forward, Martin. So once the team's back, it's not even finished at DMU, which is in southern Morocco. So when everyone gets back, I'm just planning a few more in, at least 1 or 2 a month, various villages on the beat. So those recommendations or anyone particular villages suffering, I'd like to know so we can plan that in.
Positive the parish councils to bring that to your attention.
We went through questions after the Martin.
Right, for these first. We're going to these first, so whatever time we've got there. So airspeed still features, but it's much reduced, and we can see that in the figure that came out in the presentation. And I've seen it myself in the results back to ourselves in the rural strategy. But nevertheless, it's still a problem. Which areas are the police currently focused upon with ASP? You say the hotspot for crime, which sounds groovy. Where are the hotspots when it's social behaviour at the moment?
It's showing that area. I'm so sorry, Martin, but it's showing groovy around the area. There's a man where you live, you're going to get ASP to obey it from that degree.
Because you live in the city as well, don't you?
Big bad city. Yeah, potentially also, yeah. But no matter where you are in the country, you're going to get ASP varying levels. I'm pleased to say that it is one of those that's ever been. Nevertheless, it's still there. We work very, very closely with the antisocial behaviour team at Hinkley Bottleborough Council. So the team there that we work with, fortunately, a few ex-cops there, so we're linking with them quite a bit. So it's not just, ASP is not just a police issue, part of the police issues, but part of the council issue as well, so we work hand in hand with them, dealing with nipping things in the bud, because a lot of ASP is generally children, teenagers. So rather than criminalising them, straight off the bat, we like to kind of work through what we call the commercial approach. So we work through words of advice all the way to charging people. So we don't want to criminalise children, but they need gripping early doors and nipping in the bud. So we work hand in hand with the council. We have done quite a lot of test purchase operations recently. So, those who don't know, test purchasing is where we send juvenile people into shops. And my daughter's part actually, so my daughter's 14, her friend's 15. She works closely with Sarah Francis Lang, who's basically the licensing officer. So a lot of ASB relates to alcohol, vapes, knives. So we do a few test purchase opportunities where the daughter and friend have gone into various licenses to try and buy knives. Bear in mind the 14 and 15, we got someone sold a knife. We went into a local off license and sold a bottle of vodka. Bear in mind the 14 and 15. And we do a lot of work around vapes as well. Vapes are 18, but we do a lot of work around that. Yeah.
Another question that came up was average speed cameras has been needed on the A447. What's the view on this? Average speed, I assume over quite a long distance on that.
Yeah, personally, was to you guys, I'm not aware of any major issues down there. I've emailed our traffic department, the head of the traffic department, a guy called Graham Compton. He's currently on leave at the minute, so he's not got back to me. So I've emailed the team. I'm still waiting on an email to find out what's happening about the street camera down there. Is that the problem? The big area problem down that area? I'm not aware personally.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It's good that you take it, yeah.
Yeah.
Rural crime is mentioned, especially to remote farm and farm buildings, as well as the rights of way issues you talked about, Rob. Can you give an insight to the ongoing work? I suppose you probably answered in your presentation, but is there any other ongoing work that's going on in this area of policing, particularly farm buildings and that very rural crime and landowner type issues and property rights?
Yeah, a couple of bits that I want to cover as well off the back of that is we're working really closely with the NFU. 2 weeks ago, we had the Ashby branch and the Market Boulder branch all together in Upton, where we had a health and safety day, talking about on-farm risks, and we use it as an opportunity to talk about rural crime prevention as well. We speak every week on Tuesday mornings to all those forces that neighbour us. You guys here, if you look at the geography of Hinckley, you're right on the border of Warwickshire. So Warwickshire, please factor into our communication, if you've got hair causing problems or fly tipping. So increase fly tipping, do we think? Decrease, stay the same? Do we think there's a bit of a problem with fly tipping? That's reflected in Warwickshire. So whoever's fly tipping in Leicestershire, on the border of Warwickshire, is most definitely doing exactly the same in Warwickshire. Cannabis waste, builders waste. We work, yeah, exactly. So we're working really closely with Warwickshire Police. If there's an answer on a postcard how we prevent that, whether that's sort of police, whether it's just working more closely with the local authority, I'm more than willing to hear about it. The feedback we get is, if it's dumped on private land, it then becomes the landowner's responsibility to get rid of, and that isn't fair. I get that, I totally get that. Doesn't mean that we should onto the public highway, but from a rural crime perspective as well, the other thing to mention is, massive issue for us at the moment is the focus on rural mental health. The last to do is speaking to a white, middle-class, male farmer who doesn't particularly want to address the fact that they may have an rural isolation, there might be poor yields, there might be tuberculosis, there might be bad weather and the crops fail, and they don't want to talk about their own mental health. So it's something we're trying to work with the RABI and the farming community network to get these conversations had and get it in front of people's minds. So loads of stuff that we are doing across the board. The other thing, we do a lot of work with local authorities in terms of scrap metal and stopping people moving scrap metal about, checking the relevant licences and waste carriers, bits and pieces. So loads of stuff is going on in the background with all crime.
It's good to hear on the focus. Parking becomes a part of the list, especially outside schools, as we talked about. I know that the Rural Council was hoping to raise awareness about this and get many partners around the table. And that work's not undergoing at the moment, but we're very keen to progress that work. We understand entirely, and everybody in this room understands entirely, there's no one agency to deal with this. So I understand that these are very supportive of us all getting around the table and seeing what we can do. Rather than fine and more about education, really, and try and public awareness. A very, very difficult topic, because often there's cost spots on the other line going to a more serious incident, and obviously you can't do it parking well. Some of the parking is not your responsibility in any event, but is getting all of the partners round the table to see if we can bring something together to be able to advise you of, because I know very shortly going forward, we all want to deal with that issue, and we're trying to find a way to deal with something that I'm sure you're totally supporting.
Yeah, I've got a meeting next week with Councillor Ross Helms to discuss it. Just on the back of that, like I say, it's a very tricky. Years ago, we had the power to give ticket people on the yellows and zigzags. Well, now we've got that power. Certainly on the beat, there's about 35 schools, I think, and everyone wants a police officer or PCSO or down at school at 8:30 or 3 o'clock. The guys work backsides off by trying to get as many schools as they can. I wish I had more stuff to go down. Obviously, every school wants to come down between 8:30 and 3. Conscious of the time, Martin. But yeah, it's something we are aware of and trying our best to.
It's also there was not day away limit restrictions very local to this, that's a problem. Is an issue, can the police help with this? So that's particularly for Desford and that large industrial estate, for inappropriate, not fair way.
Yeah, indeed. I take it a lot of the issues downstairs, Caterpillar and Desford. Yeah, I agree. Al's done a bit of work down there with, was it, who was speaking up there, that was Alex, wasn't it, spoke to?
Yeah, so pallets in Bagworth and also the transport managers over in Neovia and Campbell as well.
So they I think they're right in saying that they're emailing all their drivers,
Yeah, so
telling them the route to take.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Capital are basically emailing all their drivers or agencies who obviously are using Caterpillar to say this is the correct route. Whilst, like they've said, they can't. If someone's going to follow their sat nav and go the opposite way, they can only do what they can do, and that'll be down to us to try and catch them. However, Caterpillar and the OBR are trying their best to try and encourage people to come in on the A47. Likewise, pallets, they cause a lot of problems on that main road. They're putting things in place, they're moving to a bigger site. So they are moving to a bigger site, so hopefully that will reduce the build-up of the bigger vehicles in obviously Bagworth as well. But yeah, we are trying to work.
Plenty of signs on the access and exit points, these main places. Mike and I ran Bolton the other day, a vehicle going through the world, we turned around, this is the right way to go. We're not scared to turn the vehicle around if we see him.
I also sit on Clifford Quarry, and there's a lot of their drivers back, driving and speeding, and they're taking traffic survey, and there's also those around.
I have had a few personal emails come through about certain lorries, so if they deliver it up, they contact the company and say, just be mindful where you're trying to go now, so it's something we're not working on.
How stretch is it, wasn't it?
So again, what's
How stretch it?
Yes, yeah.
The last one from me before I've got probably take a couple because we're going to be running over otherwise, is, and you touched upon it, so vapes and laughing gas legislation has recently changed.
Yes.
Obviously there's been a decline in the canisters, but they're still about, and vapes are really serious. What work are you doing quickly around that?
Yes, very quickly. On vapes, it's B18, by vape. A lot of stores are on the that are selling them, so Sarah's arranging a test purchase. A couple of people will be moved on to that, to go in and try and buy them. So we've got about 15, I think, on the radar. So if they do sell them, they can find.
Thank you.
So that's around vapes. Laughing gas. So I think it will take November, it's in the canisters, yeah. They seem to take a bit of decline, Mark, which is good to see. I think they're used in the catering industry, if I'm not mistaken, but people will take them and drive. But as of the 8th of November, it's been declared a Class C drug, so it's now longer illegal to buy, sell, use, leave no excuse for share and
Probably only got time to take an additional question, I don't have to stop you off, so, did you have a question?
Yeah, just to follow up on the Street Watch campaign, it's great to get technology, kids keep coming back. But it was about just really joining up, because obviously you go out to them, you say you're going to cancel more.
Yeah.
What we have as parish council, we've got data from our vehicle access site to indicate when the problems, what part of the day the problems are raised.
Yeah.
So if when you're planning, maybe you could talk to us.
We can,
Help you optimise your operation.
Yeah. I'll take your email, it's okay. Is that all right? If I've got it on,
I've not really got time, Brian.
Just going to say,
because don't ever underestimate what your presence does. You get to know local people, a lot of people in rural areas travel 4 hours a day, and others. It's a good source of information, and networking works both ways. Because in my mind, Joe, which is the first line of business, is an information. But going back to Steve one, personally, I like to see things and tell you what to do.
yeah.
Because they want everybody, whereas a radio cameras only catch the person at the great speed. And I should think a big push on local business. I think it's really, very much what it should be.
Thank you. Can I thank you for coming, all your officers for your talk today and giving us some education through the workshop sessions, as well as all those, those conversations and questions asked of your officers outside of the main conference room. So keep yourself safe. We appreciate everything you do. We'd like to see more of you, but that's just because we love to see you. So keep doing the job you do. We are very grateful. The fact that we are challenging and asking for more officers is only because it makes us feel safer, and we are safer as a result of that. You don't have to find that result. So thank you to all your officers. We appreciate what you do. Thank you very much. Okay, we've got two things from the National Forest Company now. I'm going to take those steps with you. Sam, good afternoon, welcome. It's good to see you. That number of the National Forest, the National Forest, and indeed the National Forest. So it's a regular exercise. It's really good to see you. The floor is yours. Thank you very much. What is it? Awesome.
Many slides and time I've got. Back through the thing. So, my name is Sam Anthony, I'm the Forest Company. Again, I'm sure you've seen the organisation. There you go, hear me now? So, back through these. So what is the National Forest? Really the idea is to create a new forest formation here in the Midlands. The idea goes back to the late 80s, early 90s, and really is around connecting Charnwood Forest near Leicester to Meadwood Forest across in Staffordshire. So it gives you an idea of the boundary of the National Forest. We're also just outside the forest here now, but obviously a sizable chunk of Keeping Bosworth falls within our boundary. So here's some figures, what we've done so far. Shut up. So it gives you an idea of what we achieved in the first 30 years. The headline being 9 million trees. We're well beyond that now. We're moving towards looking at 33% forest cover. It's important to say that's not all woodland. When we talk about forest, we mean it in the medieval sense. So we're talking about woodland, heathland, open space, ponds. So that's what about forest cover rather than woodland cover. The main thing is the difference, the change. So this is what 30 years, 9 million trees looks like. This is what things were like with woodland cover back in the early 90s when we started. You'll see nice green clusters at the east and the west end. In the north around Colgate, the reservoirs in that area. But in between, very little green at all. That was really where we had the core of the Coleman Street, particularly for that paint. Like that. So we've taken it from 6%, we're pretty close to declaring 23%. So we'll be nearly managed 23% by 2023. So our real values, climate change now, we know it's a huge threat to all of us. We're seeing the impact of climate change all around us. In fact, it's not stopping raining for what feels like months. Sustainability is really important. How can we do this in a sustainable way that keeps people working, keep working with people? We really believe that trees can transform things. Not just landscapes, not just what you see when you go out there and side, but also people's lives. And that leads me to respect, we're all part of the forest. So it's not just about a few people, it's not just about landowners or even people who live within the forest, it's for everyone. So we're creating public access, about 80% of forest creation has public access, new cycleways, getting people out and enjoying the countryside. We want people out, we're promoting outdoor activity. We know that access to the countryside, we know that fresh air, physical activity is good for your physical health, but also your mental health and your well-being. We're working very hard on education. We've got a project that's now reaching out to, I think it's actually more than 80% of primary schools in the forest. We're now doing a big challenge, can we tackle secondary schools? So that's the next challenge. So you look at some of the changes. This is Hicks Lodge, near Moira, where our offices are, back in the day. You can see there, so that's some woodland that was actually protected during the working of the mines. That is now still there, and half Hicks Lodge Cycle Centre. So huge change. Now full of wildlife, what was a dark hole in the ground. We've got skylarks, brown nesting birds, we've got a lake, we've got a bird hide, so huge change. Key parts of this is the visitor economy, bringing people into the area, bringing millions of pounds. I always get the figure wrong because it seems too big. There's hundreds of millions of pounds to work with and bringing people in this area. And that extends beyond the forest boundary, so this fantastic venue, which I've never been to before, it's great to have it on the doorstep. We'll be bringing people to the area, people will come here, people will come to villages, village stores, hopefully use local accommodation. So we think there's about 5,000 tourism-related jobs within the National Forest. We've got accommodation and attractions, so Conquest Discovery Centre. Whenever we go out and give presentations to people outside the forest, have you been to the forest? Oh, I don't know. Have you been to Conquest? Oh, yes. Somewhere that brings people in. The National Royal Arboretum, that brings people in from all around the world. We have the FA Centre, so we get footballers. My nephew to this day hasn't forgiven me for the fact I mentioned Lionel Messi, and I have no idea who it was. So we get these people coming from the National Forest. We have St George's Park. And we really want people as part of tourism to come and actually enjoy forest-related experiences. People say, oh, you want Centre Parks. No, because Centre Parks is about keeping people in Centre Parks. So we want people actually out in the countryside, in the rural communities, spending money, supporting local businesses. When you plant woodlands, you've got to manage them. You don't just leave them be. So we're now actually at the point 30 years in, where woodland management is a really core part of our work. And what that's doing is actually creating an industry around woodland management. So we have contractors who will go and do woodland management work, we have agents who will plan new woodlands, and we're now getting apprenticeships coming through. So we're actually seeing the next generation of local business moving through the National Forest. And that's keeping it all local. So there's local people setting up local businesses and keeping the whole thing within the local area. The next step, we're looking beyond the forest boundary. So we have recently agreed with DEFRA, who are our main funders, that we actually operate a sort of fuzzy boundary. So the National Forest boundary will stay where it is, but actually we can give permission to operate just outside. So if you're within 2 miles of the National Forest boundary, you're actually now eligible for our forest creation grants. So it's worth getting in touch. Beyond that, it's a really fantastic project. We can consider it, but we have to go back there for permission, because basically we're working beyond what our agreed boundaries. As part of this, where we get really ambitious, we've joined forces with the Midland Engine and the Woodland Trust to look at, can we actually take the ideas of National Forest and spread it across the whole Midlands. This is a brand new project, we really launched it last month, and we're looking at, can we actually fund all the forest projects? So, we've got on the map, we've got the National Forest, we've got Sherwood in Nottinghamshire, we've got the Wyre Forest, the Heart of England Forest down in Coventry. Can we actually start to connect all of these up? Can we create a network of ecological corridors, a truly connected forest landscape, not just in the National Forest, but across the whole Midlands? So that's our ambition. We've got a couple of years funding from Lottery and from DEFRA to actually sort of look at the strategy, work out the paths, who do we talk to, who are the communities we engage. The idea being that sets us up for maybe 20 years delivery. But again, big ideas and big ambitions. So having said I've got too many slides, someone actually edited them for me. So I'm not sure who did that, but thank you. So basically, pretty much bang on time. That's the end. Thank you.
It's very, very good, and obviously it's really important. Again, small tips, it's not like you've got a massive team. It's very progression, really interesting to learn the journey between a few trees and now, of course. You've all very well, I look forward to seeing you next time. Just recently I was at an event and I met Susan, Kilby from the National Forest. I said they thought what I had to say, so I invited her to spread the good news to me too. So Susan, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. Yes, so I'm Susan Kilby. I'm also part of the wider National Forest team, but I actually work at Charnwood Forest, and you can see this slide there promoting Charnwood Forest Geopark. So Charnwood Forest is probably somewhere that you know really well. It extends beyond the boundary of the National Forest. It's about 150 square kilometres, and I'm guessing that most of you know Charnwood Forest because you know places like Bradley Park, Beacon Hill, some around Honeypot sites. I am the education officer, I'm the heritage education officer, and I'm responsible for our relationships with the schools. And what we wanted to talk to you about today are all of the educational resources that we've been creating, and these are available not only for schools within the Geopark, but also beyond. So if you're on the other side of the world in Europe or in Canada that shares our geology, there are resources available for schools all over the place. Hinkley and Portsworth Borough Council extends into part of the Geopark, and you can see the boundary there, the blue line, and you can see the schools that we're working with already within the Geopark. We have really good relationships with most of these schools. We have been working with them to offer them grants for outdoor learning. For schools within the Geopark, we have £2,000 for each of the schools already allocated as part of our Heritage Lottery funding. And the schools are choosing to do some amazing things, pond creation, outdoor classrooms, that kind of thing. And we also go into those schools to deliver some of our teaching resources. But you don't have to be within the Geopark in order to access them. I'll share with you a bit later on our website address so that you can go and have a look. I suppose our resources are split into kind of two key categories. On the one hand, we like to encourage people to get outside. So this first step that I'm just going to talk you through is all about outdoor learning. And then the rest of the resources focus on the people and landscape of Charnwood Forest and its internationally important geology. So the Colours of the Forest is a resource that I created. I'm actually a medieval landscape historian, so the first thing I wanted to do when I took this job was, of course, to make some overhauling. And this is a really lovely resource that we have made available to schools. We've got a film that you can download, so teachers can do this as a sort of self-led exercise. Wherever you happen to be, right across Hinkley and Portsworth Borough, you can access this. And you can see from the slide there that we run CPD sessions in schools. We've gone into schools to run sessions, and we've done sessions outdoors. It's a really nice session to run. Thank you, Martin. You're my glamorous assistant this afternoon, aren't you? I'm not in charge of anything here. This is another one that gets students outdoors. This was developed with a partner organisation, and in fact, actually, I've had some really good conversations with various people today. We like to collaborate with people to create something new for the students locally. This celebrates forest forest industry, in this particular instance, charcoal burning, which is a really important historical industry. And you can see here that we've got a group of, this is Leicester school children coming into Outwoods, which is just near Loughborough, learning all about charcoal burning, and this revolves around kind of 3 curriculum touch points: science, history and art. And on the day we're looking at here, we had 60 school children, and I'd like to show you particularly the charcoal burners hut that we built that is still standing at Outwoods to support this. Thank you, Martin. Thank you. We created a number of workshops, so we're moving on to this kind of the people and the landscape of Charnwood Forest. This is a workshop that we developed that could easily be self-led, that allows students to kind of see the landscape through the eyes of medieval people. You can see that I'm focusing on the slide here on Ratby and Markfield. And the children get an opportunity to put the pictures on the map so that by the time they've populated it, they're looking at what was particularly notable about this landscape. So again, these are resources available on our website. We ran this project last year, and we worked with a nationally award-winning poet. Some of you may have heard of him, a Leicestershire poet, John Berkovich. And again, the Anglo-Saxons are on the national curriculum. Every year, students are thinking about the Anglo-Saxons, and we wanted to find ways to incorporate our landscape into the work that schools are doing. And so we collaborated with John Berkovich, and we created a virtual workshop that you can download, so that teachers can literally run it in the classroom, and it takes them through the process of writing their own Anglo-Saxon style riddle. We liked this idea so much that we ran it as a competition, and the entry in the top right-hand, your right-hand corner as well as mine, was actually written by a young Markfield student. So he was one of our winners. In fact, the winner came from Hinkley and Boswell Borough Council, you'll be delighted to know. It's a brilliant poem as well. We also got requested, this was a request from Elizabeth Woodville School in Groovy, and those are the students that you can see down at the bottom right, to help them to create something that would take them into the Tudor period. And we actually focused on an actual Groovy resident from the 16th century, who left a probate inventory. You've got a tiny little bit of it there, and we got the children to recreate his house and put all of his possessions in the right place. And just in case you were wondering, he kept his bacon and cheese in his bedroom. So that was the takeaway from that session. They were really excited about that. Coming forward in time, we took samples from every settlement in Charnwood Forest from the 1881 census. Some of you who've been to see us on our stall today will have seen some of the Forest families' cards already. So schools can download this as a set of data that they can interrogate, so they can look at human geography of different settlements right across the landscape of Charnwood Forest. Actually, I'm nearly done. We were asked to create a local history day for a school in Woodhouse Eaves. And here you can see children plotting chocolate coins, looking at archaeological coin finds for the Roman period in Charnwood Forest. And you can see how focused they are on this. And it's not, I promise you, it wasn't just the chocolate, because they were really quite keen on this exercise. I mentioned earlier our internationally important geology. We are producing a whole range of resources, and this is where I think that schools outside the Geopark can really benefit, because Charnwood Forest is internationally important, and we are very happy to host field trips within the Geopark. We had a school coming in from Nottinghamshire yesterday looking at volcanic material. And if you feel that there are opportunities for you to come and talk to us about field trip, please do get in touch with me. And then we couldn't end without talking about Mark Fieldite, one of the most important roles in Charnwood Forest. And this is a lovely Key Stage 1 activity, which is to create an edible version. And it looks disgusting. Trust me, it goes down really, really well. We never have any left. And if you fancy tasting some, it's going to be available at Olivia's in the Outwoods this week, because it's British Science Week. We persuaded them to sell it again this year. So I think that's probably
A confession there, the last time we meeting, you bought some remains of the Tyson. So I come back.
it is good stuff.
I was hoping to bring some today.
Well, I should have made some, shouldn't I? But anyway, so that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, and I hope you gave you plenty of food for thought.
It did, thank you, Susan. There's a massive amount that's available to people. So anyone who's got a connection with schools or school children will circulate the details. There's different things you can do within and without the forest, as you talked about. Directly into schools that are in Charnwood Forest, but that's predominantly through the not so much as you think and so on. But there is also the educational resources available potentially to all of the students. So
I should have said everything is free. So if we've created a resource and it's on our website, it's not going to cost you anything. Teachers can download them, they can laminate some of the game cards, and there's lots of interesting stuff on it. So
thank you for coming today, and I'm sure we can generate some interest for it. To keep it that great work that you do, so thank you very much. I touched upon briefly earlier about the Hinkley Boswell Borough Council Climate Change Business Forum. It's been going for some time now. Daniel does a great job of that, and it's well supported by local businesses in Hinkley and Boswell that want to do the right thing in trying to reduce their carbon emissions and an understanding of it. And I think it's partly with this is Hinkley and Rugby Building Society. Claire has been on that journey as an absolute, I think I said really in the outset, everybody needs a Claire. Everybody needs a Claire in the organisation, but I'm delighted to see you once again. With a smaller adult house, because it's easy to transport. Please join in, and it's an update because it's wonderful work what Hinkley will be, particularly yourself, being passionate about this, have been doing, so please join in.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you, good afternoon everyone. So, we're quite informal here today. Sorry, haven't provided any slides. I'm just going to talk you through a little bit about what we've been doing recently. So, there's three key elements I want to talk to you about. It's the education piece first and foremost. A little bit about the work we do with the Borough Council, and then Ethan's going to talk to you here a little bit about what we've done as a business to reduce our carbon footprint. So first and foremost, thank you for everyone that's come over and said hello to us today. We brought the Doll's House in. It's something we're really proud of. So why is it important to us, and why is Hinkley and Rugby Building Society here today? We're a building society, so we're mutual. So basically what that means is we don't have shareholders, so any profit we make goes back into improving services and journeys for our customers or into our local communities. So we're really passionate about the local area and the people that we work for. So we use the Doll's House to go out to local events, schools, we did like a Zoom visit, we did loads of work to try and just engage with people. First of all, it works great with kids. They see it, they come flying over. We talk to them a little bit about recycling, or make sure you turn the lights off for your mum and dad, things like that. It really engages them. We want to really work hard to increase the work we're doing there as well. So I've spoken to some of you today about that, so I look forward to speaking to you a bit more. The second of all is adults, educating adults. So it's hard work. As any of you know who work with it, some people are so reluctant to change or they don't understand it. We try and just dumb it down as simple as possible. And the Doll's House helps, especially if they've got kids, because the kids come running over. They come over and we just talk to them a little bit about it, and they'll just air their frustration like, well, I wanted to get solar panels, but it's so confusing, or I don't know where to go. And we talk to them about it. So we're not doing it as a building society. We don't sell solar panels or air source heat pumps. It's important to us that people understand their homes and what they can do. So we talk to them a little bit about retrofitting, the benefits that brings with regards to the cost of living crisis. So although there is usually a large capital outlay up front, the benefits and the longevity of that Also how it's potentially can protect the value of your property as well, making sure that it's fit for the future, sustainable as well. So we talk to people and let them know a little bit about that. Moving on to the next big project, we're really proud to have launched. So we've worked very closely with a company called Digital Buildings Limited, and we just launched in December. It was a soft launch, the first with you all the way mortgage product. So who here knows what a green mortgage product is? I'm not going to ask you to explain, but is it a term you're familiar with? It's not many. So a green mortgage product is a product focused on the environment, sustainability and so forth. But it's really greenwashed. You get people, companies, larger financial institutions, they'll want to lend money to people with A, B or C rated properties and give them lower rates to reward them for being green, and that's great, but that's not solving the problem. That's not solving the problem at all. So what we've done is we've launched a product where you have someone who sees their dream house and it's a broken down old drafty shack, or they've got a home that they know they want to retrofit but don't know where to start. And they come to us and we work with the company, Digital Buildings Limited, and they do a full retrofit survey on your property. They will look, they'll talk to you about it, they'll come and understand what your requirements are, what your aims and aspirations are, and they'll write you a pathway to zero, which they'll agree with you. Then with that, we then work with the customer to lend them the money, and Digital Building Limited will lend the money, and then Digital Buildings work with you to source contractors to come and do the works, and then they'll be there for the installation, and they'll even verify that the work's been done. So just soft launch that product. That's for existing members only at the minute, so not everyone can have it, but it's something we're really excited about and hoping to bring to the wider market very soon. So I'll pass over to Ethan now. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, in terms of the business, we try and reduce our carbon footprint as much as possible. So we do a few actions to reduce our carbon footprint. So first and foremost, we supply our offices with 100% renewable energy. Just something we pride ourselves on, it's not just us, but we're always excited to do this. Another thing, we've installed 111 solar panels at our head office, and this actually, I think it comes up to about 70% of our head office electricity consumption in the summer, and it's actually achieving, slightly over what was expected in terms of performance rating. And then secondly, we've been monitoring our emissions, our footprint, and looking at ways we can reduce our carbon footprint as well. So one of the things we're doing currently is kind of appointing sustainability champions in the workplace. So this is members elected in all the school branches Leicestershire, and really trying to integrate ways in which our staff can really kind of reduce the energy consumption in our offices. And as Claire touched on, then we've kind of incorporated climate change and sustainability, not just into our kind of business solutions, but into our product line as well. So I think it's really about acting as an ambassador. As a building society, we have an underlying responsibility to act on climate change. So it's about not just having listened to our operations, but acting as an ambassador in the community where this is committed in the tree planting, which we do kind of think the council here. So the Bosworth Council, excuse me. So yeah, we do a lot of integration. As one touched on earlier, we have integrated the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals into our climate and sustainability strategy as well. This is something that's really quite important to us because a lot of our customer base and even the children's community recognise these sustainable development goals. This is really important to our current kind of strategy. And we kind of have a progress roadmap where we need to get to reduce our carbon footprint as much as possible. So we're looking at making our branches more sustainable, whether that's how they're heated, how they're lit, or just behavioural actions. So quite a lot going on, from the product line to how we operate. But we have a lot of community engagement, and we like to, especially where our branches are located, so from Colville to Newton to Rugby to kind of all over, but especially in Leicestershire, we like anything automatic branches. We like to get our branch staff involved in
community events as well. So again, there's a thinking around volunteering, and one thing we are working on is environmental education, not just for children but for adults on ways you can build a property a lot more energy efficient and cost effective ways as well.
Thank you. Roots on the doll's house. I mean, I was there when you came with the idea, and you can't possibly imagine everything taking in the different directions it took you. It's been fantastic. I do want to give you a round of applause for your presentation, but a bigger round of applause because Hinkley Rugby Building Society donated and sponsored and supported so many tree schemes just recently. And we've all seen those very youngsters come along, excited about kind of getting a tree and going and planting it. I was there in the room and somebody came into the trailer because he thought it was that big, it was 2-3 trees. Somebody else came with a truck. Most people accepted what it was, and they've all been planted. And most of them will survive, some won't, obviously, most of them will. And as I said at the time, that's going to be generating jobs for tree surgeons in the future. So you've been massive supporters of that. In Pembrokeshire and in Pet, let's be honest, it's not just the education and the goodwill, it's in monetary terms. So an extra round of applause, I think, just for that alone. We've now got the last of the videos, quite an emotional one actually. It's to do with Market Positive and their cemetery shelter. The guy who's going to introduce is actually, I think, just had to leave, so has he gone, Catherine?
Yeah.
Yeah, shall I come up? It's Nigel has to go because he had to go.
He did say I have to go. Yes. You're welcome to join me, or just play the video, whichever you feel most comfortable with.
Shall I?
Yes, please, come and join me.
Yes, sorry. Yes, John, unfortunately, John couldn't make it. Nigel's had to go, so you have me instead.
It's great to have you here, Catherine. You do so much good for all your councillors as well. Work tirelessly. You were there on the day, so you want to kind of introduce and then we'll play the video.
Yes, well, I'm Cathy Montgomery from Parish Clerk at Market Bosworth, and we're responsible for the cemetery on Shenton Lane, and it was first opened in 2006, so it's still quite a new cemetery. And it's been evolving over time, and feedback was that we didn't have an area for ashes scattering, so we appointed a landscape designer who designed this area for ashes scattering on the corner of the cemetery that was originally going to be a turning circle for vehicles, but we realised it didn't need it, so it's a better use of space. And the design of it is to blend in with the rest of the cemetery, and the finishing touch for it was to have a shelter, and the shelter was designed and made by a local contractor of oak and reclaimed slate tiles on the roof. And we're very grateful to the Borough Council because it was part funded by the parish community bank. So
we show people.
Cemeteries are extremely dignified places that have so many emotions attached to them. It can be sadness, bereavement, it can be comfort, it can be solace, it can be memories, but above all, it's a place where we go to remember our loved ones. Market Bosworth has a beautiful cemetery already, and it delivers all of those aspirations that I've just talked about. But they wanted to actually have a cemetery shelter, and that's where the Borough Council were able to assist with the PCIF grant and deliver, partly deliver the 50% funded, a cemetery shelter. Good morning, thanks for meeting today. It's great to see the cemetery shelter and the post now erected. So who came up with the idea for this? Because it's wonderful.
Well, the whole thing started as part of a landscape design for Ashley Scaffold. So the first thing was to have an area that isn't too formal. I think it's an architect design that came up with the complete Ashley Scaffolding area on the coast as part of it as phase two remembrance sites.
It's wonderful, and I feel it's probably something that I want people to see the video or learn about it in the future. Maybe replicate it elsewhere. It's a great idea and well done. There is plenty of opportunity in order to store those up over time. In many years, we'll come back and we can see many more tracks on there. Well done. It's a good design concept and it's very fitting to the location that we're in. What we're remarking on Scouts and Scouting is a massive part of community effort in educating children and young people to all of the things that they can experience during Scouting and Scouting. Market model Scouting book over recent years has declined in the number of people attending, and also the building had issues which were making that experience overall less enjoyable than we used it to be. As you know, it's very important to work council about the climate issue and climate emergency. One of the largest issues of this building was the size of it, and also it was built at a time where it wasn't energy efficient as we've been defined today. A huge area to clad the outside in order to improve that energy efficiency, and more importantly, the user experience inside. He also had issues with the perimeter fence, and that was another part of the grant. So, it improved the energy efficiency and the overall user experience. The cladding to the outside of the wall has insulated the building to a degree not seen before, and that was also complemented by the space heaters in the roof, which are much more energy efficient, much more cost effective, and do a better job of warming the environment that the scouting activity takes place in. John, we've known each other for a long time, and if we go back not very many years at all, the building here was very different to what we did. From a Parish Council perspective, it's far more enjoyed now by its user groups than it ever was.
Certainly, I think the numbers have increased slowly at first, but really taken off in quite a big way with all age groups now very, very well supported.
The Borough Council declared a climate emergency back in 2019, which was recently a biodiversity emergency. This is a great example of how you take a building that wasn't very environmentally friendly, let's be honest, to something that's fit for the future, way into the future. So congratulations to everybody that's been involved in this. This is very much a great example of what we're trying to achieve as a communities, to make those spaces more environmentally friendly, reduce the carbon impact, and a more usable experience. So thank you very much.
Two very different outcomes there, to two very different situations. It's exciting to call it the 1485 trail. We've got Martin Peters here today to give us an update on the 1485 Sculpture Trail and what will be another massive tourist attraction within Kinbosford. So delighted to welcome you, Martin. Thank you for all the great work you do. And the floor is yours to explain what we look forward to in the very near future.
Lovely, thank you. Massive in many senses, actually, because of the area that is going to be covered by the trail, and in fact, some of the pieces themselves are quite significant in their structure. I hope this isn't a project that's new to all of you, because it's certainly been a long time coming, for a number of reasons. Partly because it's an extremely ambitious project, and as I've mentioned already, the scale, partly because of a small amount of a pandemic coming part of the way through, but we're getting there. And actually over the last few months, We've seen the consolidation of activity. We've now got foundations in place at a number of locations where we're putting statues, and a number of those statues have actually been commissioned and they're being made as we speak. What's the trail all about? Really, it's to overcome a 21st century problem. And that 21st century problem is largely to do with this. We've all got one in our pocket and we think it's the answer to everything. If we want to know anything, we go on our phones and we ask to get an answer. But you tend to get a filtered, curated answer. You get the answer that other people want you to get, rather than necessarily getting the full story that allows you to make your own mind up. So if you want information about the Battle of Bosworth, yes, you can Google it and you can find unlimited amounts of information. But what we want to do is recognise the fact that actually the best way to really understand what happened and the significance of those events and the parts that the people and the communities played in it is to actually get out there into the landscape, because the landscape can tell you the story better than anybody else. So we have the route. It'll take you, you can do it in a day, I would recommend it, but it's also designed to be split into two smaller circuits if you wanted to do it in part. It's a walking route. Most of it isn't accessible by car, some of it's accessible by bike, and there are ways around it by bike if you that's able to do it. But what it's doing is it's unlocking the stories of the landscape. Some of those landscapes have not changed since the battle happened. Some of them have, canals have been built, railways have been built, but some of it is unchanged. There are buildings out there that were standing at the time of the battle, and they've got great stories to tell. And that's what this trail is all about. It's about allowing those places and those landscapes to tell their own story. So as you walk around the route, as you walk through the trail, there will be a series of interpretation points. Some of them will be significant locations, helping you to understand what happened on that horizon over there. Why was it significant? Some of them will mark significant buildings, like some of the extraordinary churches in the borough that were very much part of the Battle of Bosworth, both before, during and after. And some of them will mark the new locations, the new sculptures that we're putting in place, which will be helping to understand some of the lesser known stories. And just for some examples here, this is St. Jean Church, where we have a statue representing Richard in prayer the night before the battle, which is believed to have happened in that church the night before the battle. How many people know that part of the Bosworth battlefield story? Other examples we have are the Stone Breaks. This is in a field just outside Dudlington, next to the canal, in the sort of, if you imagine the canal going there, the railway embankment going there, the field is there. This is telling the story of the battle. It's as close as we can put something to the battlefield site, because of course nobody's going to let us put this on the battlefield site, and nor would we want to. But you can stand on that railway embankment and you can see how the battle took place. You can walk down into these stones and you get an idea of the scale and structure there. And these stones have been brought together from all over the UK, so they represent all the different factions that were coming together in that battle and what everybody was fighting for. And then one more example is after the battle, there was a period of healing, where the country had to be rebuilt and all of the scars from the battle had to be healed. So this is Dadlington Church, where we've already relayed the path down to the front of the church, and we're going to be putting in a bench, which represents the two houses, the white roses and the red roses, coming together and merging on the path, to encourage people to sit opposite each other and talk through their differences and their issues. So each of these places have a relevance today, because there's something about them that we can learn from. And we can learn from talking is always better than battle, and each of the sites have something to say. Where are we in terms of time scale? Like I say, a number of these sculptures are underway already. The route exists, we're working on the interpretation, we're working on a programme of activity. These won't all go in on one day, and there'll be a big ribbon cutting ceremony. It's going to take quite the time to put these sculptures in place. We estimate about 6 months between the first one going in and the last one going in. So we are cautiously talking about an Easter 2025 opening. We're looking at a major celebration, not only to mark the opening of the trail and the new sculptures, but also to mark the significance of the story that we're telling. This is another part of the battle of the sculpture trail, which is a new installation at the Battlefield Centre. If you look on the slide on the left, which is what we were putting a sort of scale model in place, just to make sure it was going to work, that's the tide bar in the background, so that will give you an idea of where it is. And this is the final part of the story, really, because it's about all the pieces of the jigsaw, and it's about telling us that actually the only way we know what we know today about the battle and what happened is from the things we found in the landscape. And we found pieces, and clever people have pieced them together, connected the stories, and it all starts to make sense. So there's a number of representations in there, those pieces come together, and also it represents a coin from the period. I've got an ask of you, really, and that ask is quite simple. Please start to think now what you can do to make the most of this opportunity, because it is a remarkable opportunity. It's been unswervingly supported by Martin and his colleagues at the Borough Council. We were able to secure a significant grant from the Local Enterprise Partnership. We've just opened a crowdfunding campaign, which you'll hear more about. If you want to get involved in the project, get involved, make a donation to the activity around the sculptures, and there are various rewards in place for those that do that. But if you're a business in the area, if you know a business, or if you'd like to start a business in the area, then this is what we want you to think about. This is going to be bringing a lot more people into this area, whether they're history buffs, whether they're art buffs, whether they just like walking and they're looking for a new walking experience. We need to ensure that those people are serviced, that we encourage them to stay as long as they can. We encourage them to spend as much as we can get them to, so that it boosts the local economy. So please think about the new tourism strategy has been launched recently. It identifies there is a lack of guest accommodation in this area, a serious lack. We won't be able to maximise the benefits of this trail if we're short of accommodation. If there are places along the trail they can't stop for a cup of tea or coffee or a piece of cake. If there are retail outlets missing along the route, there's lots of opportunities. There's a website. If you Google Richard III country, you'll find a website which talks about this area and the trail. And there's lots more information on there. You can sign up and register to be kept up to date on that website. So have a think about what this trail can do to support you and what you can do to support it.
Thank you, before we go, thank you for updating me on that. I mean, I've watched as much from afar, not being so involved as you, of course, but I know the challenges that you've had. Some of them have been extremely difficult. So to get to this place is a celebration in itself, and we will get there in the end, of course we will. And there's the drive and the determination to do that. But we mustn't forget there have been some difficult conversations along the way. I'm not going into them, but you know, to be able to stand here today, 2024, and say the first is in and the others will be provided within a reasonable timescale. Giving the full route then available to people. We always wanted a soft launch on this too, where it wouldn't all be in one go. It's a massive, massive challenge, and it's another great example today of how, with the will, with the determination, with the drive, and with the passion, people like yourself, these things can happen, but it's not easy. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, a couple more items on the agenda, and one really, really important, because if it wasn't for a council, we do a massive amount of work to support physical activity, health and well-being. So I'm delighted to welcome Jonathan Jesson and Julie Mansfield, who do an absolute sterling job. And I'd like to give you some time to highlight that to people, because there's more people you can reach.
Hi, I'm Julie, so I'm Physical Activity Officer for Older Adults in Borough Council. Thank you. So my main three projects are Steady Steps Plus and Chat and Chairs. So I just want to spend just a few moments with you going through the description of each of the programmes that we do. So our first one is Steady Steps. So Steady Steps is an evidence-based falls prevention programme. It's a 24-week programme, one class a week for 24 weeks. And the programme is designed to help improve balance, strength, mobility, and the techniques for people to get down to the floor and how to get back up again safely. Referrals are made in numerous ways, such as self-referral, just basically contacting myself, physical activity referral from the council, and other medical professionals like physicians, schools, clinics and so on. So classes are delivered by level 4 postural stability instructors. Week 1 consists of a small practical assessment measuring flexibility, mobility and balance, and then the assessment is repeated again in week 24 to evidence the progress made over the last 24 weeks. So last financial year, we ran 8 programmes, and they're all full. We're scheduled to run 8 more in 24-25. The programme is funded, therefore it's free to anyone coming onto the class. And at the moment, I've got 60 people on the waiting list, so it's a really well-attended programme. So again, so if you kind of, well, to be eligible, criteria is over 65 or the risk of or fear of falling. But saying that, we are kind of, we are flexible with that, okay? So if you do know anybody who may be interested or you think they'll benefit from this, please just contact me, email, phone, and we can get you on the waiting list and we can get that sorted out. Right, so our next one, Study Steps Plus. So the following on from Study Steps, if the Study Steps Plus is like a progression class. Are we there? Oh, bless you. Ah, right, thank you. So these, again, are weekly classes which help to maintain and improve the strength and balance already gained from the Study Steps programme. Our classes are ideal for anybody who has either completed the Study Steps programme or anyone who would benefit from the weekly sessions to help improve and maintain strength and balance and so on. Again, referrals are made to me, so you just pop me an email, give me a call, and I can pop you down. And at the moment, we've got 7 sessions running in the borough, in Barwell, Burbage, Green Hinkley, Markfield and near Bolverden. And there is a small cost for this one, it's £3 per session. But like I say, if you know anybody you think would benefit, please just contact me and we can get the signposted for the nearest class for you. And then finally, finally, for our chapter chairs classes. So again, these are weekly chapter chair sessions in the borough, and the class consists of a cup of tea, a biscuit, and a chat for about 30 minutes, and then 30 minutes gentle seated exercise. So these sessions kind of run on the back of COVID, trying to get older adults back into the society because they're kind of fear of coming out again. But because the kind of model proved to be such a good success, we've continued with them. So our chapter chair sessions have been its way to bring people together, helping to reduce social isolation within older adults, and helping to improve the health and well-being of our local residents. Again, referrals are made to myself, so self-referrals. We currently have 4 sessions running at the moment. They're doing really well in Burbage, Barwell, Stoke Golding and New Bolverden. And we've got a new class planned to start very soon in Sheephead, so I'm on the call with that. I'm trying to get that sorted out at the moment. So again, if you know anybody who would be interested, again, these are free of charge. Anyone who you think would benefit from these, then please just come in touch. Right, that's me over.
So it's not just before
yes.
The importance thing and what came across to me while this is, it doesn't matter about what they need. You can help.
Yes.
So, but you can't help them if they don't get in touch. So if they get in touch, whatever they need is, no matter how small or large that is, in the vast majority of cases you're able to help, and it's wonderful the work that you do. You see from the chapter chairs there, you don't even need to be mobile in order to take part of that. So if you've got a need,
yes,
get in touch because you can help. And that journey then starts on exponentially to their mental well-being and their general fitness and health and their overall outlook on life. So going to work, I know, I've talked to you about this a lot of times, going to work every day to see such positive outcomes, you must be positive when you get home.
Oh yes, I've got case studies that could I'll be into next week. Yeah, absolutely. So you have such positive responses from it, and such really good case studies, where people have not got down onto the floor before, we've got them on the floor, stood back up again, and they burst into tears. So they've been on the floor for 3 years, and they know now, got the confidence. So once they've got the confidence, it takes that fear of falling away, and it makes them more confident to go out socially and do things. So because they're attractive, so yeah,
I think quite emotional listening to you, because the outcome. Thank you for that. So Paul, you do very well too. And, Jonathan, you going to go next?
Yeah.
You're the next on the slide.
So, hi everyone, I'm Jonathan Justin, I'm also known as JJ, but that might just be confusing, but so my role is Health Recruitment Officer. Health is such a massive term, it covers so much, and I'm not a healthcare professional, I kind of like to think I'm more of a health promotion. So my role is kind of linking people to services that are out in the community and improving kind of the knowledge of residents within the borough, just to give them a little bit of extra information of where they can go to around getting support. I'm going to cover a couple of areas. It's not everything I do. So Health and Wellbeing Ambassador Programme. I've got one of my ambassadors, Paul, here, which I'm going to get to share briefly on a little bit of why we came here. Events and campaigns are kind of what we do, and part of the UK Shelters Voting Fund from the Living Fund from central government. So I'm just going to have a bit of a talk on that. So the Health and Wellbeing Ambassador Programme. So these are volunteers, people who have life experience with either long-term health conditions or they just want to give back to the community. So I took this on probably about 18 months ago now, and I kind of wanted to launch this a little bit differently. So last year I put a program out, I asked for a recruitment drive, and I managed to get about 6 or 7 new ambassadors last year. So these people are just amazing. They just want to give back in their own free time. It's not paid at all. They're just helping me get the message out. I think the key thing from these ambassadors is that so if I go and speak to a resident in the borough, I mean, I'm quite young, I know that, and I'm quite fit and healthy, but if I'm talking about heart disease, if I'm talking about diabetes, mental health, if someone's been going through struggles themselves, stories relate more to people, if they can relate to them. So I think having these ambassadors is quite important as part of our message. So again, they support the events and campaigns that I put on. So for instance, recently we put on something around diabetes. I had Stephen, who's on the left-hand side on community bowls there, supporting me on that. A number of other ones, including the mental health campaign recently, and other ones as well. But they also support some of the other projects that go on with other departments within community safety, especially supporting them. So with these ambassadors, I'm always kind of looking potentially to expand it, especially within the parishes, okay? So we have quite a few within Hinckley and surrounding, so Elsham and Barwell, and that, and I kind of want to do more work out in the community, and I need people to support me and getting these messages out, getting these groups out, especially as well. So what I challenge my ambassadors to do is kind of put more out there in the community that they're passionate about. So Steve, for instance, as you can see on the left-hand side, he's put out a bowls, community bowls club. So he's really passionate on bowls and cricket. So he's part of the bowls team, and he's managed to get us free access there. And over time, we're hoping to expand that to give people more access to a bit of social networking, as well as just a little bit of physical activity. It doesn't have to be really strenuous for it to be beneficial. So, and then also with these ambassadors, I mean, Paul's going to say something in a minute, that he got something planned as well, but these ambassadors, I provide them uniform, as you can see, I also provide them lots of training, and I try and develop them over time, and I try and respond to their needs when necessary. So my 12-month vision from here is to get a number of more kind of community groups out there, so whether that's cycling, it could be a social group, it could be literally anything that supports the well-being of residents. So I'm just going to have Paul very quickly give a little thing on why I've chosen to become an ambassador.
Yeah, as a Yorkshireman, I'm looking forward to that 1485 walk. It's going to be a long, long time before I'll start on that Lancaster recommendation, no doubt. I came down to work at Torah Church in Hinckley about 6 months ago. And I was looking at projects that we could work in a community role and how we could help the community. And the ambassadorship program started about the same time. It's been a great program in terms of resources, in terms of training. If you know anybody that would be interested, absolutely wonderful training program, and the support is there. But it's allowed me to, in a community role, I was a professional, I don't know like it, but I was a professional athlete. But I had renal failure about 12 years ago, and I have as a consequence of sports injuries, I have severe crepitatus in both knees. And with the renal failure 12 years ago, if I didn't have that bedrock of fitness, then I would have died. So it's unbelievably important. And it's never too late to try and get that process going in. So we try and cover all sorts of different activities. One of the ones well, there's two projects. One is men's mental health. But one of the other projects that we've worked really successfully in Yorkshire that JJ is thankfully Jonathan is really supportive with, is we're looking at starting American football. Now there is a local team over in Nuneaton, but we're talking about a non-contact version, and it's a great participation thing. If those of you that aren't aware that Super Bowl happened recently, it was more recorded sick days happened the day after the Super Bowl than any other day of the year. It's a massive sport. If it's not anybody's first choice, it's usually the second or third. And I'm sure if you ask people, you'll know a few people that support it. But one of the other things about it is the project that we ran in Yorkshire. Now, I'm fully aware, I grew up in semi-rural and rural communities, in mining communities in New Yorkshire. I know exactly what it's like to be a disenfranchised young person in these communities. And sometimes these activities can reach out. We've already started dialogue with the police in terms of ASD hotspot areas to see if we can see if there's something that we can engage with the police as well. It's not a panacea, but it's also mental well-being as well as physical well-being. But Jonathan's just given a great recommendation if you do know anybody. But also, please, presumably a mailing list when we get everything up and going and everything with American football, we'll send it out to the parishes. Please let us know. We'll come over. We'll do sessions.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Can I thank you for what you do? You deliver real outcomes, as I say, it's how effective, and every one of those small steps to bigger outcomes. And you know, I can imagine it's really rewarding what you do, and getting home every day, sort of celebrating what you've been able to do, and taking real pride in what you do, because people's lives are better as a result of it. You do massive amount, and you're trying to do more, which is even more encouraging. So keep up the great work, and I look forward to hearing from you again in the future, because you just do more and more, which is fantastic. And so to our final agenda item, if you've not got much time left with you, we're a bit sad about that, if I'm honest. But it's something very different, something we've never ever done before. And that is Hinkley Fixers, who do a fantastic job. They're going to talk to you about that. And we're going to learn how much of the stuff that's being brought in this morning has been fixed. Now, I've been tipping on not everything's been fixed, but it's more to be fixed that's going to landfill. So, over to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're Hinkley Fixers. What are we doing? We're trying to, as Nancy said, stop stuff going to landfill. So anything that's electrical, mechanical, and portable, bring it to us. We'll try and fix it. Okay, we've done quite a few fixes, but there are some fixes that will fail, and that's true. So we're going to do sewing and sharpening, things like that, but not computers. We don't have time to do delve into the unit of a laptop. If you've ever seen units of a laptop, you won't want to go there. And the whole idea is that we do this in conjunction with the owner of the kit. So that we'll learn how to get into our bits and pieces and what can and can't be changed. So we're teaching people how they can actually reuse their stuff instead of sending it to landfill. We started just before COVID. We did 3 events just before COVID, but we restarted again in 2023. We've done 6 events since then, and our figures are a bit staggering really. 88 participants, would you believe? 88 people came and brought kit for us. We've actually worked it out that we've saved 249 kilograms of waste produced to go to landfill. Doesn't sound very big number, does it? But 2,600 kilograms of CO2 emissions that we've saved, maybe we're partway towards saving the planet. So, for example, in January we fixed 7 devices. No, we had 7 devices brought to us. We fixed 5 of them, and 2 of them we told how to get the fix done. So a typical repair, as you say, we did ask you to bring stuff, but in fact all we did was bend a pair of glasses cap, wasn't it?
That'd be great.
But in the last few months, we have done Henry machines, we've done a bedside light. I'll never forget the little old lady who was so pleased that we were able to get her bedside alarm clock working again, that she'd had for years and was nearly just to blow up. And of course, the pride of all our repairs has been the young girl, young child, who was so pleased that we got her singing and dancing doll fixed at the Snapdragon event in the summer. And all it needed was a new battery, because we could show how to do it. So what we want to do, well, we would like to get some more volunteers, people who can fix things like we do, and then we'll be able to expand. At the moment we have an event at Hinkley Library every other month, at the end of the month, but it would be nice to have that a bit more frequently. It would also be nice to go up to other locations. I've already been talking to Stoke Colder Village Hall about doing a Hinkley Fixers event. I suppose we'll call that Stoke Colder Fixers event, will we? If we go there. So, we'd like to have some more volunteers, if anybody knows anybody who likes fixing, and organise more events around the borough in general. And one of the things we've been thinking about is whether we ought to run a few workshops, like, I suppose it sounds a bit basic, but maybe it's helpful, changing the plug, doing some diagnostics on a piece of wire, or a cable, or a truck radio, for example. So we could actually get people to understand that they can do these things themselves, instead of chucking stuff away. And then the other thing is we actually probably need a bit more publicity. I think people know what we're doing, what we're doing. Only at Hinkley Library at the moment, but the more publicity we get from everybody who knows other people, then the more people will come and get their stuff fixed, and we're going to save the environment.
I was talking to one of your colleagues earlier, he got a toaster, a very expensive toaster, £150, just needed a timer to fix it, £15, so let's do the maths, £15 to fix it, 150 quid to replace it, gone into landfill, a bit of result there. It's fantastic what you do, but I'm interested about the lady you talked about as well, because there's another big win here for me. That's probably very sentimental to her. She's had it a long time. It may be somebody that's actually bought that to her that's no longer with us. So not only is she not sent it to landfill, but she's still got that sentimental value. I don't know in that particular case, but I can imagine that it's quite possible that that scenario can play out. So it's great that we're fixing stuff. Not everything's fixable, but at least something is being fixed. But again, it's that interaction, it's that knowledge, and engineers that have probably worked in the engineering field all their life, they've got that time to give spare. I know myself, because I've had washing machines, I'll probably join you one day. But it's important that people that have an engineering background for most of their lives can keep that engineering going, albeit on a much reduced scale to what they did when they were at work. So your whole story, to me, is great. And when we have the opportunity to bring you to the Royal Conference and challenge the people to bring an item that you could repair, I just couldn't resist. So, congratulations and thank you very much. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I've had a wonderful day. It's been challenging to keep the time. It's been successful for one reason and one reason only. That is the dedication that's been put in by our officers and by the farm and our partners in supporting us in this event. And secondly, all you people for coming and taking part, playing your part, listening, learning, taking away those outcomes that you're able to do, feeding in those networks. I've heard of so many conversations, so many people have said to me, we enjoyed the agenda, we enjoyed the food, we enjoyed the venue, but we got some contact details out of it and we'll go and explore those. So if I was to sum up, that's a massive success. So it would take me a long time to go through the list of all the people I would need to thank, and we've been here until probably tomorrow morning, issuing claps of hands to. But I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank you for all your participation, for your dedication to what you do. That's what I started out with. That's what I know you do. And there's everybody in the community you represent and all the people you help have a better outcome as a result of you getting out of bed in the morning and doing what you do. So thank you to you all. Thank you to our partners. Thank you to my farm. But thank you to everybody for making today what has been a huge, in my belief, success. We will have some feedback forms in the coming days to you. Grateful if you fill that in to see if this format works for you. I'm sure it does. But we always welcome feedback, good and bad, as to what works, what doesn't. I've enjoyed immensely being here. I've been excited about it for nearly a year. It's over now, so we're going to have a lay down. Thank you very much. Happy to do it today.
I went, sorry, I went so